Hello, this is Kimber, Domke, mindful food and fitness coach, and today I'm coming to you with a Pilates-based series that you can do anywhere. And in fact, I'm coming to you from Cambodia at 6:30 in the morning before the fountains go on around this swimming pool. So it's early, maybe it's not for you, but we're just gonna start with some very gentle rolling up and rolling down, keeping your legs super strong and straight, pressing the back of the leg into the ground, roll your spine down to the mat, let your head melt into the floor, reach arms back overhead, and smoothly breathe out and roll up to sit. So the roll up is a great exercise to just give your spine a little bit of mobility, and if you're not ready to roll up fully, it can be self-limiting by just rolling up as far as you feel able. So it might be as small as this, or you could do a half roll back from the top position, from seated position. Here's how it would look if you're just rolling halfway back, rounding halfway back as far as you feel comfortable, feeling your abs draw in, and then lifting up tall. So continue your roll up and just give your spine that moment to wake up. Letting your shoulders stay relaxed, letting your neck stay long, and of course scooping your navel inwards and upwards so your belly doesn't bulk outwards. You don't want to feel like you've already eaten a loaf of bread. One more rep here. Okay, next I'm going to show the one leg circle. So bringing yourself smoothly down to the ground, take one leg up to the ceiling, take it across towards your shoulder, reach it long and low beyond your other foot, and then circle back up to the ceiling. You want to feel your thigh toned and engaged, your abs pulled in, helping you to stay stable, and you can be getting a secret tricep workout here as well by pressing your arms into the ground. You can also make this circle a little more vigorous, even pressing the back of your head into the ground and then taking a moment to reverse your circle. You choose the pacing of this circle, but it's a great chance to warm up and open up your hip joint, get that glute working on the back side of the leg, and then just draw the knee into your chest. And I always love a spine twist here. We'll go to side two. So float your second leg up to the ceiling, take it across towards your shoulder, down low and beyond the ground leg, and then back up to the ceiling. I like to start it slow and try to wake up that glute on the moving leg side. Meanwhile, the arms are pressing strongly into the ground, as is the ground leg. The ground leg is not sleeping, it's active here. I'm gonna pick up the pace a little and just draw these circles, keeping your ribs heavy. Keep looking up at the sky or your ceiling. And then reverse your direction, of course. Keeping a long, smooth breath pattern happening here. And what I adore, the spine twist. So bend that knee in, the one that was just circling, and rotate your pelvis. You can even use your spare hand to push your pelvis downward away from your neck and head. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of an abdominal series. So just a single leg stretch, drawing one knee into chest. And I'm taking it really easy on my neck right now with the neck and head staying low, but focused on the lower belly pulling in and pulling that thigh in towards my armpit, towards my body. Of course, if you'd like, you can add your chest lifting and draw that leg in even closer, right against your rib cage. You can take this into the double leg stretch. Arms reach back overhead and arms circle. You're pulling in almost, or possibly to, touch your cheekbones. Breathe in to reach long, breathe out to tuck into a ball. If your neck is tired, You can do this with your head down as long as your lower back stays safe. Your lower back needs to stay close to the ground. Your abs need to stay engaged to protect that low back. And I'm just going to take a little supine twist here. So my knees are tabletop, not part of the traditional Pilates sequence, but a really nice one, especially if you're doing this early in the morning or if you're stiff in your spine. You can modify that one further by keeping your feet low and just gently letting your knees windshield wiper from side to side. Some people might not feel much here, but for me, this is actually giving me a bit of an abdominal and deep psoas stretch very gently, helping to loosen up and awaken my lower back. We'll take a couple more quick abdominal focus moves. First, the single straight leg stretch, which you can absolutely do with your head down. You can absolutely do it with a bent knee if hamstrings are really tight. And you can add a little bit of pulsing if you want to intensify this, using 2 exhales each time that the leg pulses towards you. And I'll take this to 2 straight legs, lowering and raising. I love my head supported here. You can really provide traction and length to the back of your neck. And again, it's self-limiting. So you decide how low to take these legs. It might be just 6 inches of movement or even less. Or if you're feeling strong and no stress in your lower back, you might nearly touch the ground and float the legs back up to the ceiling. Focusing on your breath, your choice of breath, but just make it long and smooth. Right, use those exhales for a little extra abdominal awareness. And resting your head down if it was up. I go into a little bit of corkscrew here. You can make your corkscrew very gentle. We're just circling the legs, drawing a nice circle in the sky, and then pausing each time the legs come over your navel. All right, that felt like a lot of work on my front side, so I'm gonna flip over to work a little bit more on the back side. Turning over to be prone, face down. And this is a section that I think we all need a lot more of. So I'm gonna start with just a little baby breaststroke prep, lifting the tummy in away from the ground, feeling the pubic bone heavy on the ground. Your nose should be almost on the ground. And then we'll give a gentle lift of the chest, feeling the middle back muscles working, and then melting down. Notice the feet stay heavy on the floor, the pubic bone stays heavy down, and you're trying to let your shoulder blades have a little bit of a wake up here. So allowing the shoulder blades to move, feeling the muscles around the shoulder blade waking up, feeling the muscles of the middle and upper back waking up. And then I'll just take this into a bit of a breaststroke, diving forward and swimming the arms around. Exhale to dive, inhale to swim. And keeping the lower back as disengaged as possible, as elongated as possible, as the belly stays drawn in, away from the ground. I'm going to go into a little extra extension here. So starting with a gentle extension of the upper spine, using my arms for support, but really focusing on the activation of the muscles of the middle and upper back. And each time I can begin to lift my spine up and pull the belly in and come up a little higher, as long as I'm protecting the lower back by keeping the abdominals engaged. Really important with this that you're not cranking and putting excess pressure in your low back. If your body allows, you can start to straighten or come close to straightening your arms. And then I love to give myself a feeling like I'm dragging my body forward as I lower down. Keeping shoulders far from ears. breathing and giving your spine this gentle back bending movement. And I'm going for a swim, not in the water yet, but here on the ground. Arms and legs long and parallel, lifting opposite limbs. And keeping your pelvis stable, especially if you're on a firmer surface. You can really notice if your pelvis is rocking. Focus on the legs and arms reaching as long as possible out of your joints. Belly button drawing in away from the ground. And then you might pick up the pace and keep your breath elongated. Long inhales through nose, long exhales through mouth. Another one I love on the stomach is the heel squeeze prone. This is a great one to help open the front of your hip and strengthen your glutes, which pretty much everyone needs. So rest your head on your hands. Palms are stacked, wrist to fingertip, forehead resting down. Squeeze your glutes by pressing your heels together and pressing your pelvis into the ground. You want to feel all 3 points of your hip bones and your pubic bone pressing firmly into floor, and then feel the thighs lift gently and melt gently. Thinking of a strong heel-to-heel connection. Now bear in mind, I'm looking at the camera to help you hear me, but you should keep your forehead down on the ground and your navel drawn away from the mat. Try not to let your belly sink into the floor. Don't let your tail float up, but instead, keep your pubic bone pressed down and gently lift and lower the legs. Shoulders stay relaxed, far from ears. Doesn't have to be a big movement. In fact, I recommend keeping it quite small. You might stay lifted and take a few tiny pulses with your thigh bones just gently off the ground. I'm going to turn over into a bridge next. So flipping over, lying on your back, and almost feeling your heel bones twisting into the ground gently. Really press your heel bones into floor, press your arms down, and then hinge up as one unit, trying to create a straight line from your shoulders to your knees, arms working, triceps pressing into floor. And then as you're lowering, you can even think of your body moving towards your feet gently, lowering as one unit. I'm keeping the spine straight from shoulders to hips right now, pressing up into the shoulder bridge. Breathing, almost crawling my fingertips forward so my ears and shoulders stay far, far apart. I find the most challenging thing here to be really focusing on moving my spine. That means my ribs and pelvis as one unit, right? Not changing your shape, but letting it move just as a single unit, pressing up and lowering down. Letting your toes feel spread, letting your feet feel a grip on the ground gently. I'm going to add a few leg movements to this, but they're entirely optional. Press hips up, keep your hips absolutely stable, and reach one leg to ceiling. We'll flex to lower and point to raise that leg. For 4, 3, really articulating through the foot, staying as stable as possible through the torso. And bending the knee to lower the foot gently, and moving on to side 2. Unfolding the leg to the ceiling, to the sky, and flexing to lower, pointing to raise. Each time I lower the leg, I'm reaching it out, beyond the hip socket, beyond the supporting knee, and trying to avoid this hip sagging down or sinking or any twisting alterations in the spine. And then gently lowering your spine as a unit. Give your knees a nice gentle hug into the chest. Maybe take some stirring movements, gently circling your thigh bones, reversing that gentle circle. And we'll just finish off this short series with a mermaid stretch. So you've got choices for your legs. You can either stack them, or sorry, that was staggering, it is a little early. Stack them like so, or stagger them like I just showed. If your hips are a little tighter, I recommend the staggered position. We're just gonna reach an arm up to the sky and take a big side bend. Not important that both sides of your butt stay down here. Just try to get that big side bend, that nice long lift through your torso. Moving to a gentle counter stretch. It's almost like delaying your fall. I'm slowly falling, and then catch yourself to counter stretch over. All right, swivel around to side two. Again, your choice to either stagger the legs or stack them. Holding onto your shin, holding onto your ankle, and taking a wonderful side bend with that top arm staying close to your ear, lifting up as tall as you can be. And then allowing that counter stretch in almost slow motion, shifting over and taking a stunning side bend. Here I'm really lifting my waist away from the ground, getting as long as possible through the top side waist. And that is it for your abbreviated Pilates workout today. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Kimber, Domke, mindful food and fitness coach, coming to you from Cambodia, Siem Reap, but inviting you to do this wherever you are, inside, outside. You can see you don't need a fancy mat, you don't need a fancy shoes. Just get yourself moving, choose any things that resonate with your body and skip the ones that don't. If you have more questions, or if you're interested for email updates where I share details that aren't in the videos, head on over to kimberdomke.com, KimberDomke.com, where you can sign up for those email updates for details beyond what you see here. Thanks so much for watching, and have a stunning day.